Hey Steve, can you go and build that closet for the baby's room at Kami's?
Okay, what does she want in there?
Just a couple of shelves for totes and a top shelf and a couple of rods for the baby.
All right, that won't be a problem. You know what size those totes and stuff are going to be?
Yes.
Okay, get them over to me, and we'll get it drawn up and get it all taken care of.
All right, thank you.
All right, love you. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. I'm Steve-O. Today is closets, and we're going to be talking about organizers. Now, I don't want you just to get focused, even though my thumbnail showed this and that in 3 hours. We still can do we can do more than just a closet organizer this way. You can build a seat by the front door for shoe storage. You can build a bookcase. There's 1,000 of things that we can build the way you're about to see. The video that you're about to watch here is going to just take you through the short clips on what you need and how to cut the boards and how to put it together. Outside of that, the rest of it you'll need to put on this paper. I'd rather see you make the error here than make the error there. We don't want errors up here. We want the errors here. So once we determine what we want and we draw it out and we decide how wide we want it and we decide how tall we want it, then we're ready to move forward from here. And that's really going to be learning how to properly cut the thing. What's the simplest way to screw this thing together? What is your vision? So with that said, let's do this thing. Welcome to Let's DIY My Home, where like-minded people are working together to tackle your project. Everything from a complicated remodel to as simple as repairing a door. That's letsdiyimyhome.com. We'll see you there. So, and that's exactly what I've done. I've gone to the big box store. I bought all my vertical panels. I bought my shelving, and we're going to build it ourselves. So what is it that we really are going to need to accomplish this? Well, we're going to need a skill saw. We're going to need a carpenter's square of some sort, preferably like one like this. You're going to need a drill. You don't need a DeWalt. Don't go buy DeWalt. If you're going to go buy a drill or something like this, Ryobi, like there's a little jigsaw right behind me. You hear that green thing? That's a Ryobi. I'm a contractor and I don't like spending money on tools either. And for the most case, the Ryobis are going to last you just as long as what a very expensive drill would last me that I use on a consistent basis. So with the drill, the saw, and a square, we can end up, we got to have a level. Kind of hard to put something in straight if we can't make a straight line. Now there's two things I want to show you. Actually, let me go grab them. There's two different types of levels. You don't need this particular brand, okay? Stable is a very expensive one, and I really don't find it, for the average homeowner, that it's a need. That's what we call a want. The other option would be and this is probably, if I'm going with a homeowner that's like my brother, for instance, in Chicago, he wants to go hang up some things. He calls me, asks me how to do things occasionally. This would actually be the perfect tool for him because, one, there's a screw on the end of it. There's actually a piece that snaps on here, so this thing is actually a magnet, and you can stick it on the wall anywhere. You can put it on a tripod, and it actually has, it has lasers. So I can get a level line without working and being concerned that I'm off. That is never going to fail you. So if we got pictures to hang, or we want to do something decorative over Christmas and we are conscious about our being level or being straight, that's an ideal tool. So you see this particular tool, I'm going to bring it up on the wall. If I can hold it steady enough, you got a crisscross pattern. So you got vertical and horizontal. And obviously I'm not, let me try, there we go. And as long as I would sit still, that bouncing line would stop. But because I'm holding it in my hand, it's not going to. So reality is, if I have to buy a level and I'm just doing my closets and I really don't think I'm going to use one very often, then I would go for a tool like this. As you can see, I'll show you these images real quick. I have got pricing from Menards, which is by my local town, and pricing from Home Depot, as you can see as well. Don't ask me why, but Menards is tremendously less money than Home Depot or Lowe's. The vertical panels with the adjustable pins in it that you're seeing here, actually, you can get them at Home Depot. They sell the two together as 80 bucks. Or if you have a Menards, they're just under $20 a piece. Quite a bit, half the money. Same product. And I like that because you're going to see when we do the install, I cheat. And I screwed right through one of the pins for my bottom shelf, because we need one shelf to be stationary, which will lock the bottom together. And then the rest of them can be adjustable, because on the top of our closet, the upper shelf that you're looking at right here, that actually gets screwed from the top down into our vertical panels, which locks the top. The bottom's locked by our stationary board. Therefore, it isn't going to go anywhere. Now we just have to anchor it to the wall. So it's actually quite simple. It's fun. When we cut these type of products, I call them, well, it's a Formica. It's similar to a Formica. It's a laminate over press board, really. And when we cut them, we need to tape them. Wherever our cut line is going to be, we need to put tape all the way around that product. That way it prevents chipping. And as you can see, I'm sanding it and cleaning up the edges. Now I used a miter box, and I'm also going to show you how to do it with a skill saw. Oh, by the way, there is one more tool that everybody should really have, especially as homeowners and small DIYers, and it is done by Craig Jig. Now, I'm by no means a fan of Craig Jig, okay, or whatever they call them, okay. This tool right here, Home Depot has them, Lowe's has them. Pretty much you can order them online. It's designed that the saw will fit right in here, and these little arms lock down on the bottom of this plate. Now I can use it and rip with it. I can cross cut with it. I can pretty much anything that I need to do, I can cut it perfectly straight. If you guys are getting value out of this, smack the like button. Do me a favor. If you got the metal racks in it, such as I do, go grab a pliers. I couldn't believe I didn't have one, and just pull them stupid things out. And it's quite easy. Don't worry about if you make a hole a little bit bigger. That's what they make spackle for. Maybe you have all the old wooden boards on the sidewalls of your closet, and just a wooden shelf going across. Still do the same thing, and if it's nailed on, find the stud, and that's where you're going to pry away from. Then you're going to use a Wonder Bar. One of these back up here. Wonder Bar. That particular name, done by Stanley, is probably one of the better bars I've ever found out there. But you definitely want to put a board, if you're going to pry out anything, put a board behind this. That way it disperses the pressure and you don't blow through the wall. So, because once we pull all these all out, all we're going to do is run across them, take a little scraper of some sort, scratch them down, make sure now that we don't have any paint chips that are sticking out. We knock all that off, then we're going to sand it. I like to use a hammer and punch the where the hole is, punch that in just a tad, and it just makes it easier for mudding it in. This particular spackle that my daughter picked up for me, bless her heart, I don't think much of it. And personally, I would rather pick up a small little jar or container of regular mud, okay? Sheetrock mud, and use that. It'll dry just as fast, and it's easier to work with than some of this junk they put on the shelves today. Once we get all that done and we get all our holes patched up and we get everything painted, here you can actually see me up here with the level, laying out where my shelf walls are going to be. Found the center point, and then from there, decided how wide my shelving was going to be by my drawing that you just saw me do earlier when I was talking to my lovely wife about our daughter. Now, this particular board I have actually has a toe kick slot in it, and I cheated and I'm using it in the reverse because I don't want to go popping all the trim off in the closet. So that little groove cut in the vertical panel right there that you see, I didn't cut that in. It came with that. So it actually makes it a lot easier, and that butted up against the wall, and guess what? All my trim was right behind it, so I had a nice tight fit to the wall. How simple was that? I set my shelving according to what my daughter's requirements were. I just have to make sure when we frame it wide enough to fit the containers that she's going to use in there. And as long as we do that, then we're not going to have any issues. Because the shelves are all going to be adjustable, you see? And I can place those shelves wherever I want. Maybe she decides she doesn't want to use 4 containers or whatever. I ended up with 5 shelves, not 4. And it's just how it worked out. Your kits are going to allow you 4 only. You're not going to get as strong of material when you buy a kit. And yes, most of the kits, you only need a screwdriver to put them together. So that's your decision whether you decide to do a kit or build your own. Personally, I would build my own because maybe you don't want one shelf down the center like this picture. Maybe you want a shelf a rack on the left and a rack on the right. You can do that. You just have to buy enough material to make 2 of them and then put the clothes rods between them. Now you got one side for his crap, one side for her crap, if that's what your closet allows for. You see? And then we can your vision is going to determine what you build. It is actually quite simple. Once we get all these parts put together, it's actually quite easy to finish up. Nothing difficult. And make this a great project that you and the family can do together. Maybe it's something you and your son want to work on together as a son and dad thing, or a daughter and dad thing. Heck, my wife just gets happy when I help her. Figure out your height, cut your vertical boards down, use your skill saw, put tape lines around them. Quite easy. Okay? Let's not make a job out of this. There's the top shelf. We're going to set that right on the top, put a couple screws through the top into those pins, and then anchor it to the wall. Now I put my brackets that hold that whole shelving contraption together, I put them on the top side of that upper shelf. That way nobody ever sees them, and we throw boxes up there anyway. So I like to recess my panels in, or my shelving, I want them recessed in about a 1/2 inch. See, just like this picture right here. Look at that, I'll zoom in on it. The same size as my vertical panel, which were 14 inches. My tops, in this case, were 15. That worked out perfect. One at 15 would have been ideal. Actually, I think it was 15 1/4, 15 3/4. Use that as my top shelf, and then bought one for all my little ones. Would have been ideal. That would have been, let's just say, 13 inches versus the 14, which really would have saved from having to rip the piece like we saw. Just looks a little bit nicer and like it was meant to be that way. When we go to cut the top panel, the top shelf, we want to measure the total width of the upper shelf. Now, we need a tool. This particular square facing here, and I measure from the wall to here and the wall to here to this point on both of these. Trying to make it easier on you. That will tell me what my gappage is, and I want to adjust my cut on my shelf accordingly, just as you see me doing here. That way, when I stick the shelf back in the closet, now no matter if the walls bow in or they bow out, my shelf is cut accordingly so it looks like it was built that way. It looks a little more professional. Vertical panels, again, when we cut them, what do? Before we cut the panel, we wrap it with what? tape. Absolutely. But don't be afraid of the project. Make it fun. Now that we got it done, what do you think? My daughter loves it. My wife loves it. Tell me, what did you like most about the video? What's going to be your next build? Was this beneficial to you? Hit the like button. It's okay. If you want to join us, please subscribe. Ring the bell. Let you know when we're releasing more videos. So with that said, you guys have a fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you next week. God bless you all. Here's the time lapse.